that? That's you. Yes, Mama and you. Who's that?
Hello.
Hi guys. Welcome back to our channel. I'm Amy.
I'm Bob. I'm Chris.
And then we have Esmeralda in the front. Up and say hi.
Cheese.
Say hi. Say hi.
Today's topic, we are going to talk about how we met.
Yeah. We started talking, the year was 2017. We started talking, I think it was like in August or September.
I think so.
Just randomly like at work, because we would take breaks sometime together. Called Best Bath Systems in Caldwell. But we weren't working in the same department. We work in a different department. But the break room is where we normally see each other, or sometime I would see him when I walk around doing cleanup. Come here. Princess. Princess. No, 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 no. Come here. Come here.
Really?
You're so funny. I would say hi to like random people, and when I see him, I would be like, hi, hi.
I'll be like, what? Why is she saying hi to me? Alright. Hello.
No, a lot of people thought I was weird, but I'm like, being a Christian, that's what we are called to do, is reach out to people, be friendly, and love on people. So.
Amen to that.
He didn't know I was a Christian, so.
Yeah, I did not know. And there was a couple times that I was preaching to her that I was, hey, do you know about Jesus? Do you know what he did to you? And how he loves you and he saves you? And then she's like, I already know about Jesus, right? I was like, oh, I don't know that. Well, that's awesome. We started communicating with each other for a little bit. For some odd reason, when did you start thinking that I was a creep?
I just...
Because, I mean, I was doing my job, not a desk, but a computer where all the parts from the warehouses that I needed to bring, and my keys and my wallet was underneath that desk. And so every time I would clock out of work, I would go to that desk, but she would always be right next to it, because right next to it is where, like, mop bucket, janitor type tool supply. Out of nowhere, randomly, she would always be there.
Oh, Princess, no.
You want to have kids, be patient.
Yep. Well, so, a long story short, I felt like he was following me. That's the reason why I thought he was a creep. But also, just right before Chris and I start talking, I just went through a relationship with an ex that was about 4 years on and off. And so I wasn't really ready to like date or meet anybody. I wanted to like be, single, be by myself, take time to heal and go through the process and stuff like that, and not ready to like jump into another relationship. But then Chris and I started talking, so... But before we even start to talk and get to know each other, I felt like he was following me everywhere. Yeah. Like I felt like he was wanting to be where I was, and I just thought I'm not like a racist, but I thought that Mexican was creepy in a way. But yeah, I never thought I would be interested in like a Mexican guy. I was taking, I think it was like a biology class, and there was some area that I was like wanting help, asking around, not just him, but asking around his coworker, and they were like, oh, you should ask Chris.
I thought that was weird.
And then I was like, I went up to him, I'm like, hey, are you good with like biology school?
I should have said yes, but
and
I said no.
No, and I'm like, oh, okay. And
just pretending that I knew something so I could go to your house.
You asked me.
But that's not right though. But
students do that all the time. They study together, babe.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what college students do.
Not every college student does that. And my intention wasn't to ask him to study and do whatever.
And I thought it was weird because
see what his mindset is like.
No, but
I was like innocent, naive Christian girl.
But did I know that?
You didn't know that because you didn't get to know me.
No, because
you judged me before even that happened.
No, I mean, I had background. It was just a mess.
You did whatever
Pretty
when you were
much.
growing up. He was a bad boy. That's all I can say.
Bad boy. Bad boy. I mean, but I grew up. I felt like I wasn't mature. I don't know. I guess I was just a hot mess.
I thought it was weird. I tried to invite him to study.
That was weird.
Because I was like, that's not weird. You know, if you need help studying, that's what we do in college. Anyway, so that was one of the time we talked. And then the other time was I made Asian Cambodian food. And I brought it for a couple of my coworkers to share. And I had a lot left over. And I saw him sitting alone on the
I guess
fire.
I was just eating crackers. Yeah, I was just by myself.
I always see him sit by himself. And we had like a lot of food left over, and he wasn't eating barely anything. So I invited him over and said, hey, you want some food? I made it, and so it was like a container full of food.
I think it was like 3 or 4 containers of food.
Yeah, and I said, you can eat all of it if you want, because nobody else want any more. So I left.
That's the magic word. Don't say that to the man. If they're hungry, don't say that they can eat everything, because they might.
He did.
I ate the whole thing.
I came back, I'm like, you ate the whole thing? I was
and
so
it
shocked.
was spicy too.
Ginger, yeah.
It was like
Chicken ginger.
spicy. Not as spicy as that Don't Come Back sauce, but it was spicy. She
Yeah.
got me hooked.
Really bad. And I was surprised, like, you ate the whole thing? And he's like, yeah, you told me I could, and I was hungry, and I'm like,
You told me I could.
and then I was like, oh, okay. Then I made a joke. I was like, well, if you love Asian food, you should marry an Asian girl.
I said,
and
who, you?
yeah, and I was like, I wasn't saying that to point him to me. I was just saying that because he liked, the food I made. So I was like, well,
And who else is
food?
Asian? I've
Yeah,
never met, I've met Asians, but it's like, who else of Asian person would introduce me to the food and not a kind, generous Asian? She was the only one.
At that job. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, who is she referred to? Wink, wink.
Yeah, so from there, and then what happened? You went and talked to your coworker because you thought I liked you.
Well, I talked to them. I was like, hey, who is she? Like, who is this girl? Like, I see her everywhere. Like, before I didn't, and I've been working here for the past whole year. And then this coming a year, I see her all of a sudden. The only reason I didn't see her last year was because she was going to school. And so that following year, she didn't go to school and she worked there. So that's why I kept seeing her consistently.
No, I was still going to school.
Well, I mean, that's what I was told.
Just my shift changed a little bit where I saw. Because you work nights or morning.
It depends.
Oh.
It was depending on, hey, do you want to work or we need you? Can you cover? So I did, but off the topic.
We're always off topic.
Yeah, I would ask pretty much who you were. Everybody knew you, so
Except you.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
everybody thought that we would be a good couple just because I mentioned you on who you are. They're like, yeah, you should go out with her. She's a great girl. You should go. You guys should be a cute couple. But remember this: if you marry her, you're gonna have to go and do whatever she wants wherever she goes. I'm like, They're like, yeah, you say no now, but Asian people, watch out.
Is that true? Not really.
Sometimes like, chong jing, chong jing.
And so,
Sorry if that was a word. I just made it up.
yeah, he made up. So after that, you did what? The job was giving away free hockey games ticket.
Yeah.
And so, what did you do?
I asked you if you wanted to come because I don't think you were going to go because you said you were just going to go and pretty much just be home. I asked you if you wanted to come
Yeah.
and just be there. I was like, why? It's like they're giving out free tickets. Free tickets!
But why did you ask me? You wanted to go on a date with me, right?
That too, to get to know you. And so that way you can get to know my mom, my precious, beautiful mom. Hi, Mom. Yeah, I wanted to get her to know you and you to know her. So I'm like, hey, Mom, look what I found. She knows how to cook.
Really?
Well, I mean, that was the Cupid arrow to my heart.
And then what did I say?
You said no?
I said no. That was my first time rejecting you. Well, because
Kind of, when I invited you to the hockey game?
yeah, I said no because I felt like you were asking me out and I wasn't ready. Like I said, I just let go of a relationship that was
Right.
4 years on and off.
I was pretty nervous too. I was like, what did I even say? Like, what if I say something? Like, a whole bunch of things like just coming upon. So I'm pretty sure she was like another guy.
Yeah. So, but then after that, I was just trying to do what pleases God at the moment, and so I felt bad saying no to him. So I was like, okay, I'll pray about it. So I thought about that, and so I kept praying. I'm like, God, should I give this guy a chance? Should I get to know him, and just see where they will go from there? Because for me, I don't want to date unless it's for a purpose of marriage. And so if I can see myself with that person in marriage, I would give that, like, a dating a chance. But if I don't see myself with that guy in the future of marrying and having kids, then no. And so I knew that Chris was a Christian because, you know, he preached to me and stuff.
Yeah,
And
but sometimes it's hard to distinguish. So you would have to be careful on making those decisions and actually trusting your God and praying, because that's what she did. Pray. It's not like she winged it. It's not like, hey, it's from the heart. Okay, I'm feeling my emotions. No, she went to someone that she can trust, which is God, and God opened doors and led her into that position. Obviously, it may lead to a bumpy road. It may not always be perfect, but with the perfection, with God, it's possible. You know what I mean? You may trip and stumble, but at the end of the day, there's communication between you, your spouse, and God. You know what I mean?
So I prayed and prayed, and I just felt God, this small voice saying, give him a chance. So get to know him. So I'm like, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I'll let him know and see where it will go. But you're gonna have to take control from now on with our relationships. And I was scared. I'm gonna be honest. I was scared. I didn't know what was gonna go from there. So I went up to Chris at work. It's like, hey, about that the time that you.
I was surprised too. I was
nice.
Yes.
Remember when you asked me, well, is it too late? Like, can we go?
No, it's not too late.
That's what you told me. He's like,